Should Coeptus return? Bloxburg's popularity have been decreasing rapidly, largely because of the interesting choices that Coffee Stain, the Bloxburg development team, has made over these past few months. So now people are wanting the old owner, Coeptus, back. But should he? Let's do a deep dive on both sides to find out who was better, Coffee Stain or Coeptus. Subscribe. I'm also very aware that Coeptus still works on Bloxburg, he just no longer owns the game. So in January 2023, Coeptus posted this tweet saying that he is now partnering with Coffee Stain, but at the time of this post, Coffee Stain hasn't fully taken over yet. And it was not until April 2023 where Coffee Stain fully took over. So let's compare the numbers from 2021 to 2024. So all of 2021, it's like 100K, and then it dies down a little bit to like 80, 70-ish K. But it's like still high tens of thousands. 2022, it gets a little lower, so we're seeing like 60, 50Ks, but sometimes we'll still see 70, oh, see 100K, okay. And then 2023, this is when Coffee Stain started to take over. So this is like 50, 60, 40K. And then 2024, we see more 20K, 30K, 40Ks. Obviously, there was this 300K. I'm just gonna ignore it because that was an off day. That was when Bloxburg went free. As we can see, there's been a decline in the past 4 years. And in case you're ahead, you're thinking, oh, but it's probably not Coeptus' fault or Coffee Stain's fault. It was just the time. It was just 2021, which was peak COVID. Obviously, everyone was at home. Obviously, everyone's playing Bloxburg. See, that's where you're wrong. Well, you're right in the sense that it was, in fact, peak COVID. In 2021, we had 42 million Roblox daily active users. And now we're at quarter two of 2024, we're at 79 million. That number has almost doubled, yet Bloxburg's player count has just continuously been decreasing. So let's break it out. Let's look at the updates, because this is what everyone is most excited to talk about. Bad update here, ooh, bad update there, ooh, maybe this one's a good update. Let's talk about it objectively. We're gonna be comparing the quantity and quality of these updates. So since Coffee Stain's ownership, we've seen 14 updates for them. So I'm gonna compare all Coffee Stain's 14 updates to Coeptus' most recent 14 updates. Guess what? I made an entire Google sheet for this video, Bloxburg update analysis. We're gonna go through all of it. Okay, so let's look at Coeptus first. So these are all the dates of whenever the update came out, so the last 14 updates. And the gap means the days between the two updates. So 21 gap means that there is 21 days between this update on December 9th and December 30th. And then the type of updates is what we have in this update. So every single update we get new items. Some of them are seasonal updates, so that's like 4th of July, New Year's, Christmas. Those are seasonal updates. And then gameplay updates are updates that change the way we play the game. So like a Marvelous Mood Game Pass, that is a gameplay update. Transform Game Pass. Gameplay B is a big gameplay update, and Gameplay S is a small gameplay update. I wanted to separate these because changing the UI of something would be considered a small gameplay update, whereas adding a whole Game Pass, that's a big gameplay update. Obviously, there's a very different effort level put into these updates. So that's Coeptus' most recent 14 updates. Let's look at Coffee Stain. So for Coffee Stain, I added this new column called Map Revamp. Don't get excited, this is not the map revamp that you're thinking of. This is just like when they revamped the gym, when they revamped the beach. We see with Coffee Stain, obviously, there's a lot more gameplay updates and also a lot more big gameplay updates. There's also a lot of seasonal updates, but again, every single update has new items. At this point, you're probably thinking, more info below, keep watching. Oh my gosh, what is down there? Like, I need to keep watching to find out what's down there. No worries, because we're scrolling down right now. I summarized all the numbers to a neat little chart, so we're gonna go through it. I saw a Reddit post earlier about how Coffee Stain updates a lot less frequently than Coeptus, like they are updating every 2 months, whereas Coeptus was updating every month. So I did the math, and objectively, I have the answer for you. Ready? Here it is. It's not that big of a difference. But I do want to specify this number includes an update that wasn't really in the update log. So the update where they gave the early access people all the early access stuff, so the couch card, the badge, or whatever, that wasn't an official update, though technically it was still an update, so I included it, meaning that the next update was only 15 days away. So let's say we deleted this one, right? And I'm divided by 13. Let's see, okay, so 4134. That is a bigger difference, obviously, but it isn't double of what Coeptus was doing. And the numbers down here is how often each company has new items, seasonal gameplay, and map revamp updates. So for new items, obviously, it's gonna be 100% because every single update has new items. And then with seasonal updates, Coeptus had 64% rate of seasonal updates throughout the last 14 updates. and Coffee Stain only at 29%. This number actually makes a lot of sense for Coffee Stain because before, when Coeptus was owning it, he used to do 4th of July updates. He would also do April Fool's updates here. The 4th of July and April Fool's are both very American updates, and Coffee Stain is obviously not American, they're Swedish, so it makes sense that they're not doing 4th of July and April Fool's updates. And then as for gameplay updates, obviously Coffee Stain has a lot more gameplay updates. And then on top of that, Coffee Stain also has map revamps, whereas Coeptus did not, 0%. So here's what I think. Yes, while Coffee Stain's updates are a little less frequent than Coeptus, which to be fair, a 5-day difference, it's so little it doesn't even matter. Coffee Stain's updates are clearly a lot more high quality and a lot more high effort. We see a lot more gameplay updates that change the way you play the game. I mean, the pre-built house catalog, the color wheel, the skills revamp, the payment revamp, like that is something that Coffee Stain has done, and we haven't really seen Coeptus done something at such a high level in a very long time. And even the equal pay and fees update, obviously this wasn't an update that people wanted, but there's no doubt that Coffee Stain put the effort in it to make this update. Like, regardless of whether people liked it or not, the quality was there and the effort was there. Which, to be fair, makes a lot of sense because Coffee Stain is a full-on company with multiple developers, whereas Coeptus was just Coeptus and some Froggy Hops. So with Coeptus, he focuses a lot more on current player experience. So at the time, 2021-22, it was mostly builders already. And so he makes updates for builders. Like, builders don't like mood, so he made the Marvelous Mood Game Pass. Builders want to build more in detail, so he made the Transform Plus Game Pass. So that's Coeptus' philosophy with updates. Let's look at Coffee Stain. So Coffee Stain has very publicly stated that they update with a focus of realism and longevity. Here, it's really, okay, I can't zoom it in. You're just gonna have to trust me. Which, I don't know what kind of longevity they're talking about, because let's look at it. There's not a whole lot of longevity and retention here. And they're also extremely good at fixing what isn't broken. Like, no one was complaining about the pay, so let's change it. People rarely talked about their car being towed, so let's add a fee. Let's get people talking about it. So as I'm editing this video yesterday, I wake up today to a tweet from Hey Bloxburg telling me they're actually going to fix what is broken this time. They're reverting everything that we don't want. They're increasing job owners, and then they're also taking away the fainting and towing fees. Everything that we don't want, taken away. Just like that. This is the only part in the video where I actually talk about the update. Everything else stays relevant. But I did still want to include the part where I did talk about those updates because that was my opinion of the updates. But at the same time, don't get me wrong, it's not all bad. For the longest time, people were asking for custom colors, a color wheel. And the first update they did was a color wheel, plus new materials, which we haven't seen new materials for a very, very long time. And also the Bloxburg update, adding the efficiency and changing the entire payment system, that has to be one of my favorite updates. Like, I loved all of the 2023 updates, but here's the issue. There's something called the recency effect, meaning that things that came last are remembered more clearly than those that came first. And so because the recent Coffee Stain updates has all just been terrible, people applied this current reputation of Coffee Stain to the entirety of Coffee Stain, despite the earlier updates being really, really good. People also blamed it on the communication. I understand the importance of addressing the economy, but the communication and timing could have been better managed. If we got the right communication, none of this would have happened at all. We just need an explanation from the higher ups on what's going on. Basically, people generally agree if communication was better, more players, none of this would happen. It would have been just fine. So let's compare. On Coeptus' side, the two people mainly involved was Coeptus and Froggy Hops. Coeptus only has a Twitter page. He used to have a pinned tweet saying that Twitter is his only social media. So let's look at his Twitter. There's basically, it's just all retweets. He just has no opinion of his own. And also, a lot of people deemed him very mysterious. We don't really know who he is to this day. Froggy Hops is a little less mysterious. He tweeted quite a bit. Like, probably, I'd say around 2 to 3 times a month. So some things he would tweet about, he would respond to bugs, he would do little tease leaks, and he was also very involved in the community, like RB battles. Yes, we got teasers, but these teasers are just for what's happening next week, what's the next update. We never really got much from Froggy Hops or Coeptus about what their goals are for the game a couple months down the line. Coffee Stain, on the other hand, they got the Twitter, they got the YouTube, they got the TikTok, they got the Discord, they got the Instagram, which to be fair is very inactive, but it is their official Instagram. And other than the Instagram, they're quite active on these other social media platforms. They made a YouTube video being very transparent about what their goals are for the game a couple months ahead. They made it very clear they wanted a map revamp. They wanted to make the game go free. And they even made a content creator program where they could specifically talk and interact and communicate with creators to see how they could better improve their game. Okay, I'm looking at it. Maybe they don't have Instagram because it doesn't say anywhere that they have Instagram. And so maybe some random person just made an account and said this is their official Instagram account. And I just got lied to. And also on their Twitter, they're also doing a lot of talking. We got 5 tweets in August. That's pretty good. It's just not the things that we want them to talk about. It feels very much like a one-way conversation where they're just like spitting a bunch of things at us. To me, communication has 3 parts, right? So it's talking, listening, and responding. Right now, they're just doing a whole lot of talking. And, well, to be fair, they probably are listening, but they're not doing a whole lot of responding. Because if we look at Dress to Impress, which, by the way, is just absolutely dominating the entirety of Roblox and pop culture right now, they are so involved in their community. I mean, 5 hours ago, 9 hours ago, 9 hours ago, 21 hours ago, and, well, to be fair, it is all just retweets. But, okay, so wait, when was their actual, okay, their last actual tweet was 21 hours ago. They are so on top of their Twitter game. To be clear, I don't think that this is the community manager's fault at all, because I wholeheartedly believe that they are doing the absolute best they can. So both communication strategies, Coeptus and Coffee Stain, both of them are not perfect, but I don't think that one is better or worse than the other. The ideal communication strategy, in my mind, is the use of all 5 platforms, and while doing so, also share long-term ideas and goals that they have for the game. So similar to what we saw here, but this was 5 months ago. Let's get an update. And also do a little more addressing and responding to the community. Actually listen to them. And I'm not saying just the negative stuff, not just the concerns. I'm talking the positive and the negative. I'm talking after each update, obviously address concerns and bugs that players are seeing. But also, let's get a little tweet saying, I hope you guys enjoy the update. And also, it'd be really nice to see some retweets of players' tweets, you know, let them know that you're engaged or looking at their posts and you're like involved in the community. I'm not saying you have to do some dress to impress type thing and you have to be reposting every couple hours, because I understand not wanting to flood your page. Like, I personally, this is too much for me. I want to see dress to impress tweets. I don't want to see 1,000 of reposts. So, but occasional ones could be nice. So after all this, who's better? Coeptus or Coffee Stain? If the player count is the end goal here, which for a lot of video games, player count is the measurement of success, then the objective answer would be subscribe. The objective answer would be Coeptus. Coeptus had more players playing, and Coffee Stain did not. However, I don't think that this necessarily means that Coeptus should come back. That's not the consensus here. Because even though Coffee Stain ruined Bloxburg's reputation, and as of right now, I think that Coeptus is the better owner, the game has a lot more potential under Coffee Stain than it does under Coeptus. And even Coeptus agrees on this. He said that he's partnering with Coffee Stain to execute their plans to the highest level, which highest level means the same thing as maximum potential. And we also agree that Coffee Stain has overall put more efforts into their update. And so if these efforts were put towards the community interests, they could very much save the game and even probably reach player count numbers that Coeptus would never even think of reaching. Editor Tessilyn here once again. See, I was right. If they put efforts towards community interest, they could save the game. And guess what? They did. And if we scroll down, everyone is happy. Not one person is complaining here. I just predicted the future. This makes it extra funny because the line past Tessilyn is about to say after this clip, just with the context of this in mind, is hilarious. Just watch it. Or maybe the sad reality of the situation is that it's time for Bloxburg to retire, the same way that OG games like Superhero Tycoon died down, epic minigames died down, and also obby games, which I so incredibly loved before, also died down. Maybe it's Bloxburg's time. Nothing ever happened to these games. People just moved on. So what are your thoughts? Coeptus or Coffee Stain? Let me know in the comments. Click here to subscribe, then click here for more Bloxburg breakdowns. See ya there!